So Nappy Yankee made a video response to me. So I'm here to refute the stuff he said in said video. Now before I begin, it's like I said in the last video, I don't got issues with Nappy Yankee. This is just a case of two adults disagreeing with each other and having a healthy dialogue. I didn't catch his live as it happened, but here I am talking or taking the time to respond. First off, let's address your claim that you don't cape for Lenon based on you showcasing your videos on your channel. All you did was showed videos that didn't have Lenon's name in the title or his picture in the thumbnail. You even went as far as to search his name on your channel and showing that nothing came up. And this is your evidence to support your claim that you never caped for him. Sir, this was very disingenuous and very dishonest. So, listen, just because a title or a thumbnail isn't correlating with a certain person does not mean their name or the subject of them doesn't come up. There have been several live streams and videos of yours where Lenon Honor wasn't the subject, but at times he would get brought up, whether it be from someone on your panel, in the chat, a certain event in the sector that may have happened, or you yourself would bring him up. And following that, you would take certain digs at Lenon Honor critics, particularly the good guys or good guys associates, and make certain false narratives, including of us being jealous, we have no content, we're hypocrites, the stuff about Lenon isn't new, etc. You would then sometimes on other panels like Max V's and Smoke Gods, and including the Brown Sugar Baby Live that I've addressed on my last video, defending Lenon on his fuck shit, where those lives didn't consist a Lenon title or a Lenon thumbnail. Now, I wish I have the energy to look at every single video you have done and look for every single time you mention Lenon on your lives, but I don't have that type of time. So, just to conclude this particular part, I will leave it to the audience to decide for themselves. However, I would point out the Brown Sugar Baby Live that I have been referring to, and you can clearly see Nappy Yankee sticking up for Lenon as just a small example of this. Just to further prove why your tactic of showcasing video titles and thumbnails was ridiculous, let's use using me as an example. If I made a claim that you made a video featuring me and used the same tactic you used to show that my claim is false based on the title and thumbnail, then I can showcase the live you recently did responding to me where my name isn't in the title and my face isn't on the thumbnail. You try to be slick, Nappy. You may have worked it on others, but not me. Next thing, you kept harping on that me and others follow trends and you don't. And you used your Kwame Brown video where you went against the grain at a time when everyone was rocking with Kwame. So I'm assuming you're meaning the good guys and good guys associates follow trends, which again is a disingenuous thing to say. And it's more ridiculous to say that you don't follow trends. So you mean to tell me that in this sector alone, it's no longer popular to bang on Umar. It's no longer popular to say he's a scammer. You won't get support if you say the school is fake? Really? Sir, this is what you do in your videos with Umar. You do the popular thing. Banging on Umar is a trend now, and it has been for years on YouTube. If you support Umar, if you challenge Umar detractors, if you're objective about Umar, that's going against the grain. Who is more known to go against the grain when it comes to the Umar topic? The good guys and good guys associates. So in reality, it's us that don't follow trends, but it's you that follow trends. Even with Lenon. Lenon was untouchable in 2020, and anyone who criticized Lenon had to feel the heat from the whole sector. No other better example of this was when Shakim War turned heel on y'all, and he was blackballed from the AFWs and AFW associates. Every time Shakim got on the panel, especially Smoke Scott's panel back then, he would get creamed and teamed, no homo, by Lenon lovers, and he was getting ragged on even for going at Lenon. So again, what trends do we follow? Meanwhile, you're the one that follows trends, bruh. Next, you then try to imply just because I wanted you to hold Lenon accountable and hold him to the standard of consistency like you do Umar, Tariq, Dane, etc., that somehow that correlates to me or us wanting drama. Sir, what in the hell are you talking about? So me asking you to hold someone accountable is wanting drama. So I guess with your logic is okay for Umar, Tariq, and Dane supporters to assume that you want drama if you want them to hold the people they follow accountable. Sir, do you see how ridiculous that claim sounds? Speaking of Umar and Tariq, you then try to be slick again by saying Lenon isn't comparable to those two because he doesn't have the reach like them. Nappy Yankee, will you stop? You know exactly what I meant. Lenon is no different to Umar and Tariq based on how you hold those guys accountable with your commentary on them. Lenon Honor begs for money. He scammed his viewers for moving out when he lied about why he had to move when his house was sold from up underneath him. And he had to move. There was a questionable cancer controversy with him. He made a ridiculous coon-ass video on black folks and Black Lives Matter. He made ridiculous comments about Trayvon Martin, where Stargate herself got upset with him about it. These same characteristics about Lenon is what you get on Umar and Tariq, and you hold those guys accountable, but never Lenon. And the crazy thing is, you won't compare Lenon to Umar, but a few months ago in a live, you said AAS is similar to Umar Johnson, and you later put her to the plank along with Reb G and holding them accountable. So how are you going to say Lenon isn't comparable to Umar based on reach when AAS isn't on that level either? This is a very inconsistent claim. Now, in this live, you were very indecisive on why you won't hold Lenon accountable. First, you said it was because he would have been a distraction, or it would have been a distraction from the Umar discussion. So with that statement alone, you're saying your bias against Umar is so big that you're willing to ignore Lenon being very similar to Umar. Yet you can hold AAS accountable, who you said was similar to Umar. Then a few minutes later, you made comments that you don't go after people you're cool with. So again, that's a showcase of being biased. Then you said as long as he doesn't go after you personally, you don't see the point. Well, sir, again, explain why did you go at Reb G? What did Reb G personally do to you before he struck your channel? Your breaking point with him, and your breaking point for you taking your time to make a 2-hour live stream where Reb G was the main subject was because Reb G was getting interviewed by CTV. Again, all this was before you gone down the rabbit hole with Reb G, before he started striking your channel down. So you can't use that excuse. So what did Reb G personally do to you that would make you go after him that was before him striking your channel? Because from my understanding, he never mentioned your name, but you got involved with the Reb G's beef with Let Me See Your Transcript. That had nothing to do with you. So again, sir, what made you go after Reb G? You spoke on why you went at Umar, Tariq, and Dame for scamming people out of millions of dollars. Now, Reb G, he don't got money like that. You talked about how Dane Calloway is running a cult. Reb G doesn't have a cult around him. What did Reb G do that you wouldn't go at Lenon for when Lenon has done worse than what Reb G did? I'm no Reb G fan, but I'm trying to understand the correlation with all of this. Now, one of the most ridiculous points you said was when I mentioned about you not going at Lenon like you do other black men. You then followed up with us now saying Lenon is black. Sir, the only person who made a claim that Lenon honor isn't legitimately black was Shakim Ra. Nobody else was on that type of time to make such a claim based on facial features, etc. Now, sure, could there have been jokes made that Lenon isn't black based on him going to Utah? Because how many black people you know are from Utah? I'm sure you may have saw people say that, but that was all jokes, not actual genuine statements. So again, you try to be slick, and I had to shut that narrative down. We all know he black, even though he bashes black people, including that deleted/private video that you said you didn't see. Which brings me up to my next point. If you never saw or heard about this video, that's telling me you never saw the documentary, which is odd because in your own sector history video, you told Speakeasy you would watch it and you still haven't. So that goes back to my third of 3 scenarios of why you never went at Lenon, which is you never knew about said controversies and you refused to watch the evidence. You're telling on yourself, Nappy Yankee. You're telling on yourself. So let's talk about this comment about Stefan. You said just because me and others were basically hanging around him during those times or during those Lenon allegations, it's hard to take us seriously. Sir, let me ask you this. With your logic, does that mean when you were on Africanism Strikes Back panel months ago, who is a Umar supporter, that people shouldn't take you seriously? How about when you still openly supported AAS, even after she went at Make a Change with anti-ADOS comments in which you are not ADOS yourself? We shouldn't take you seriously? Or how about when you called into Nyla Says' platform when she is a fucking cancer, aligning herself with the bald eagle, as you would say, Cynthia G? We shouldn't take you seriously at that point? You know that would be ridiculous. So just because I or anyone else hung with Stefan doesn't mean we shouldn't be taken seriously. I made it clear after Lenon made that video with Flacco that I was skeptical about those allegations. Now, everyone else I can't speak for, but the reason why I didn't harp on those allegations in my last video was because I didn't believe them based on Flacco not putting out those 5 other interviews to debunk Lenon's live stream. That's why I never spoke on it in any of my Lenon videos. So that point you made with Stefan, which is rather ridiculous. Now let's talk about this ironic statement you made about Shakim making pocket watching videos about Lenon. You asked, why are we pocket watching? Bruh, I know you ain't talking. I know you ain't talking. All of those times you kept harping on how much Umar is taken from black people, which in your words is millions of dollars, and especially when you be basically Inspector Gadget with how long Tariq needed to meet his goal of $1 million for that museum and reporting how much he's asking for afterwards. Stop this foolishness, Nappy Yankee. Much like you said, everybody clout chases and everybody in the sector pocket watches. This was originally the Umar Johnson sector based on the FDMG school. How can you not pocket watch? One other thing I wanted to address based on a comment you addressed in your chat, that Lenon asked for money, not begged for money. The definition of begging is to ask someone humbly for something as a charity or a gift. Now, what you did afterwards when you addressed that comment is talk about how Umar constantly asked for money, and that's considered begging. Well, sir, again, if you watch the Big Move series, which is privated/deleted, by the way, Lenon did the exact same thing as Umar. That's begging. He exploited his children and recorded an abandoned child on a porch in the middle of the night to placate his goal to get $10,000 to move, while he tried to blame drug addicts and alcoholics when in reality his house was sold from underneath him. He then begged for money for the cancer stuff with his son. That is begging, just like Umar. One last point I want to address, which really didn't have anything to do with Lenon, but you kept diverting to Umar, which is typical when Lenon defenders get challenged. But you called the good guys cowards for not addressing Tariq Nasheed, Mukasa Africa, etc., and said Lenon was an easy target for why they did this. Okay, first off, Lenon wasn't an easy target, as I explained earlier, when the good guys and others weren't following the trend of kissing Lenon Honor's ass, especially with AAS in his pocket. But when it comes to Tariq and others, the difference. Tariq, Mukasa Africa, Dr. Clay, they weren't making constant Umar videos every week or every day like some of these Umar detractors do now. That's the difference. So there was no need to go after them as much as we did with Lenon, AAS, and others, because it wasn't a continuous thing. The people who constantly made videos every day or every week would have nothing new to say and regurgitate the same shit over and over and over again. And after a while, it becomes a bash-a-thon to the point where non-Umar supporters like myself were questioning, where's the end game with all this? So that's where their energy is different with AFWs and AFW associates compared to Tariq and them. So that's my response. Much like Nappy Yankee, I'm not really planning on going back and forth because clearly we're not going to agree on the subject. So it's basically agree to disagree. Now, if Nappy makes a response back, that's cool. If it's something I feel that I have to respond to back, I may do it, but we will see.